Have you ever been in a room where people laughed at you, pointed fingers, or treated you like you didn't belong? Imagine being just a child trying to learn, trying to belong when suddenly, your very presence is rejected. That's what happened to today's main character. They mocked her, they chased her out, they thought her silence was defeat. But what she did next left everyone speechless. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Walk away forever, or fight back with dignity? Tell me in the comments, I want to know your thoughts. And before we dive deep, make sure you subscribe to Skin Deep Stories so you don't miss powerful real-life inspired stories like this one. Now, let's begin. Her name was Amina, a 14-year-old black girl in a small suburban school, one of the few black students in her class. She loved books, she loved speaking, and she loved to dream big, but not everyone around her wanted to see her shine. One morning, during history class, Amina raised her hand confidently. The teacher hesitated, scanning the room. Before she could answer, a boy snickered loudly. "Why don't you just leave? Nobody wants to hear your accent." The classroom erupted with laughter. Amina froze. Her heart raced, but the laughter didn't stop, it grew. Students pointed, others whispered, and a chant began. "Go, go, go!" Her hands trembled. Tears welled up. She grabbed her books and rushed out of the room. The hallway echoed with their laughter. But Amina didn't cry, not then. She whispered to herself, "One day, they'll hear me." Days turned into weeks. Amina stayed quiet in class. She sat at the back, avoided raising her hand, avoided eye contact. The teacher never addressed what had happened. No apologies, no correction, silence. At home, her mother noticed. "What's wrong, Amina? You used to talk about school all the time." But Amina only shook her head. She didn't want her mother to see her pain. Still, every night, she wrote in her notebook speeches, poems, and words she wanted to say but couldn't. Her silence was hiding something bigger, something powerful. One afternoon, the principal announced the annual debate competition. The theme, equality and the power of voice. The irony was cruel. Students buzzed with excitement. The same boys who mocked Amina boasted they'd crush it. But quietly, Amina signed her name on the registration sheet. Her hands shook as she wrote. But in her heart, she knew, this is my moment. At home, Amina practiced daily. She stood in front of the mirror, repeating her speech, about being silenced, about being told she didn't belong, about how every voice, no matter the skin color, accent, or background, deserves to be heard. Her mother listened one evening, tears in her eyes. "Amina, they may laugh at you again. Are you ready for that?" And Amina replied softly, "This time, they won't laugh. This time, they'll listen." The auditorium was full. Parents, teachers, and even school board officials were present. When Amina's name was called, the room fell into a hush, followed by murmurs. Someone whispered, "She won't last a minute." Another sneered. She walked slowly to the podium, clutching her notes. She could feel her heart pounding. The same boys who mocked her smirked from the front row. "Let's see this," one whispered. Amina began softly. Her voice trembled, but she didn't stop. "At school, I was told to leave. I was told I didn't belong. People laughed at me for raising my hand. They thought their laughter was stronger than my voice. But they were wrong." The room shifted. Silence replaced the whispers. She continued, "Equality is not about the loudest laugh, it's about giving space to the quietest voice. Belonging is not about skin color, it's about the heart and mind we bring to the room. I was chased out, but today, I'm standing here, not to prove them wrong, but to prove that none of us should ever have to be silent to be accepted." Her words grew stronger, her voice firmer. "By the time she ended today, my voice is not just for me. It's for every child who was ever told, you don't belong." The auditorium exploded in applause. Standing ovation. Even teachers wiped their eyes. The twist? One of the school board officials present was an education journalist. He recorded Amina's speech and shared it online. Within days, it went viral. News outlets picked it up. Amina's words became a headline. Black student turns bullying into a speech that stuns the world. Her school, once silent, was forced to act. Policies changed. The teacher who ignored her humiliation was suspended. Anti-racism workshops were introduced. And those students who mocked her, they sat in the same room days later, watching Amina speak again this time, not just to a class, but to the entire district. The girl they laughed out of the room had the last word. What do you think was Amina's strength in her silence, her courage, or her words? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe to Skin Deep Stories because every story has the power to inspire change. Remember, sometimes the very voice people try to silence becomes the one that changes everything.